Karan.
Hi, thanks for
How are
having
you?
me.
Of course, thanks for coming. I know how busy you are as a surgeon.
Yeah, but I'm good, thanks. So I just finished 3 days on call operating. So that's like a typical day involves 12, 13 hours on call, seeing patients, emergency operations. But now I've got 4 days off. I'm going to chill.
4 days in a row?
3 days I was operating for like
Wow.
12, 13 hours each day, but now I've got 4 days off.
That's pretty nice. It's like 3 days you go all out, and it's like right when you're one step away from turning into a zombie, they're like, okay, now you get 4 days off, which is
Yeah,
pretty
I
nice.
don't always get 4 days off. I like taken some annual leave as well, but usually it's pretty, relentless. Like, I wouldn't usually be back at work after the weekend. Like, yeah, but I had to take some time off just because I'm exhausted.
And how does that even work? Like, I cannot even wrap my head around working with a focus, because it's not just like you're not just like standing, like it's not a sales job, it's like people's lives are literally in your hands. Like, how do you keep your focus? Because it's like when you're exhausted, how do you go around exhaustion?
Yeah, honestly, I think you get used to it is one thing. You get used to, our bodies are amazing at adapting to harsh situations. You see people, living in the Himalayas, their bodies adapt to the stresses of that environment.
Right.
So similarly, you know, as a surgeon, doing these crazy shifts, waking up early, going home late, not drinking much water, not eating much food, that helps your body acclimatizes, but also when you're operating and dealing with like these stressful situations, just you've got pure like increased amounts of adrenaline and cortisol running through your body. So you're kind of high off that thrill, that excitement, the danger, the stress. And it's only when you stop those kind of stimuli, when I go back home and want to chill, that's when I feel all the tiredness.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm actually quite the same way. It's like once I'm like super busy and I go, go, go to the point where I will forget to eat. Like, I will actually not even get hungry. And then once I like get home and I sit down and I'm like, man, I'm tired. And I just like knock out on the couch sometimes. But it's like as long as I'm going, 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 it's like you catch a second one and a third one and then a fourth one. And then once you relax and you're like, damn, I'm
Yeah.
tired.
So the key is just not stopping.
Yeah.
That's the
Until you
key.
drop dead.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really be surprised if doctors and surgeons would be addicted to Adderall.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a specialty where there, I think, is lots of, discrete substance abuse, where it's not very obvious and, not for the thrill of it, but I think it's kind of, I've known colleagues of mine and kind of my seniors when I was more junior who've had issues with alcohol, with other drugs and things like that. Sometimes it's because they have easy access to these things. Sometimes just to cope with something, to cope with that kind of stressful situation, you sometimes resort to, various things. And that's why you also find, maybe firefighters, policemen,
Yeah,
people who are in the army, in the military, they sometimes have higher rates of mental health issues and
I can
substance
see that.
addiction issues because of the stresses of their jobs is almost unlike anything else.
Yeah, yeah, and you're from London, right?
Yeah.
Nice. Like, born raised.
No, I was actually, it's a bit of a convoluted history of mine. I was born in Mumbai in India,
Nice.
and then I moved from India to Nairobi in Kenya when I was three.
Wow.
Lived there for a year. My parents had like a dairy farm, and then I moved to Hong Kong when I was
Whoa.
about four. I lived there for a year, and then came to the UK when I was five, and I've been there ever since. And I'm 31, just I'm now. So yeah, 26 years in the UK.
Wow. That is a fun little. Was it like what was with all the moves? Was it like a dad's job or something?
No, it was more because my mum's a doctor, so kind of she
Mm,
moved around, for her job, and eventually she wanted to. I think the decision to move to the UK was ultimately for me because they wanted me to be educated in the UK
mhm.
because the UK has one of the best kind of education and schooling systems in the world. And they wanted me to put me through that. And yeah, I think the move eventually was for me, but also as a career, being a doctor in the UK is pretty nice. So it was good for my mom as well. And yeah,
Is
pretty
it
happy.
better than the States?
I don't know how a doctor career is in the States. I think from what I've heard from colleagues and friends and doing my own research, it's the work when you're training is way more intense, and it's actually exhausting to the point where I think people literally quit because it's so bad. But I
Mm,
think the financial rewards at the end are much greater than in the UK because it's a
mm.
privatized system in America. But in the UK, we've got the NHS, which is free. So the doctors' salaries in the UK are kind of nothing compared to those in America. But this is a career where you often don't do it just for the money, because there's loads of other careers you do if you were just motivated by money.
Yeah, but I feel like being a doctor is like it's so difficult that like obviously you get to save lives, but I think it's only fair if you're also extremely rich.
Yeah, I think doctors
It's
definitely
so
should be
hard.
rewarded.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I mean,
and important.
sometimes it's like frowned upon almost, like for doctors to want more money, but I think doctors should be paid well. I mean,
Yeah,
we put our bodies and minds through crazy stuff like
yeah,
night shifts. That's been proven to kill you. Night shifts reduces your life expectancy,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. I can totally see that. Yeah, not getting sleep in the hours that you're supposed to sleep
Yeah.
is yeah terrible. Um, Interesting. And what did I want to ask you? Oh, okay. Well, let me give a little introduction about. Am I saying your name right? Is it Karan?
Dr. Karan. So like Karan, like
Karan.
current affairs, no T.
Okay, I just don't want to call you a Karen because that's
No.
not good. Okay, so he's a general surgeon in the NHS. So you mentioned that. So you guys have free healthcare?
Yeah. So National Health Service, it's been there for about almost 80 years. And yeah, free healthcare to everyone, and there's literally no limit. You can have a sore tummy, or you can be bleeding from your ear, or have a headache and you're just not sure what's going on. You can go
Oh,
see your doctor, go to the emergency room, and you'll get seen. If you need surgery, you will have the surgery. If you need to spend several weeks in the hospital or in intensive care, you get all that. You get
for
all the
free?
treatment, everything free.
What are the taxes like?
Taxes are, I would say in the UK is one of the highest in the world, which
Mm,
is why we can afford, amazing free education, free healthcare,
wow, you guys have
lots
free
of,
education too? Nice.
yeah. So like, so it's a lot of amazing things for, improvement of society as a whole, and it kind of, I think, national benefit and health. But the taxes are very high. So,
I would assume.
that's the,
Oh man. Okay, so yeah, general surgeon in the NHS and you're also a clinical lecturer at the University of Sunderland. Is that right?
yeah.
So you're a professor also.
Not a professor, but I lecture and teach medical students and nursing students in the University of Sunderland. Yeah, so just, that's my kind of ongoing face-to-face education. I do online stuff, but, that's kind of my thing I did before all this TikTok and Instagram. I did kind of,
Yeah,
real life education to people.
before you became a celebrity doctor on social media. Um, yeah, and the reason why you made it so big and like really successful on social media is because you just have such a unique way of combining education with entertainment. And it's a really good way to just, I don't know, disseminate information online. I think people have a crave for that now because like we all realize how much mindless scrolling we do every day, and it's just like a bunch of like it's fun, but it's like you look at your time and you're like it's been 2 hours I'm scrolling. But a few accounts here and there where you follow and you actually learn a few things and you can feel a little better about the amount of time you spend on social media, and your account is definitely one of those.
Thank you. I
Yeah, you
think,
can.
yeah, when I when I first got onto TikTok, like I think back end of 2019, early 2020, there were doctors on TikTok, but mostly what I was seeing doctors doing, and these were mainly doctors in the USA,
Yeah,
they were just kind of following the trends of the app, which was lip syncing, dancing, stuff like that. There wasn't much in the form of true educational content, and then suddenly I started just putting out some educational stuff with
yeah,
a bit of like British humor, a bit of a like a twist on it, and then they started doing well. And then I kept doing that, I kept growing, and yeah, and then I saw some of the kind of American creators start doing similar things.
right.
And yeah, I mean, all the doctors on the app now, like they've got like loads of like millions of followers, and it's a good thing because lots of good educational stuff on TikTok, and yeah, it's completely changed how TikTok is compared to a year ago.
100%. And I have categorized each app on my phone, like they're very organized. And my TikTok, I moved it from social media to learning, because
Oh wow.
I actually, when I go on TikTok, it's not mindless scrolling. Like, I'm not looking at dances. I follow a bunch of doctors and therapists and psychologists. And when I go on, like, I almost want to like take note of like everything they say, because it's in 1 minute, and it's like you learn so many cool, amazing things. One of the last amazing things I learned from your account, and I've actually been using it, I think almost every day since I saw the video, is that the dehydration test where you like grab your skin here.
Oh yeah.
It's so amazing, because when I watched that, I grabbed it. So, okay, here's the video, you guys. It says that if you want to test if you're dehydrated, you can like grab your skin here, and if it kind of like that, and if it kind of like sticks up for a long time, it means you're dehydrated. So I would say I'm dehydrated right now, because like
The
that
one
makes
thing
me
I would
feel good.
say is it's better to grab it on the back of your hand instead of the knuckle, because the knuckle can tent for longer. Back of the hand is better. So
But the back of
yeah,
the
that's
hand is for sure gonna go down, you know? But like the knuckle, I
sometimes
feel
it
like,
doesn't.
oh really? Huh.
Yeah.
No, I feel like the back of my hand would go down no matter what. But like I like my knuckle is still there. But then like the other day when I was more hydrated and I did it, it went right down.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it went right down. But like right now, I've been running around from this morning. I didn't have a chance to drink, so I can tell I'm dehydrated. So
I mean,
that's
that's something we use in hospital. Yeah.
you guys do that?
Yeah, I mean, as like when a patient comes in, we do like a full examination, no matter what's going on with them. We'll like check their eyes, we'll kind of listen to their heart, listen to their lungs, check their hands, like a full kind of examination. It involves like an organized assessment of each different body part. And one of the ways we assess if a person is well hydrated is we check their pulse, check their blood pressure, check their urine output, so how much urine they're producing. Obviously, their blood test we'll see. We'll also actually have a feel of their pulse. If they've got a weak pulse, it might suggest they're dehydrated. And one of the other things we do is, another trick is you press your nail, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So squeeze your nail for like 3 seconds, okay? Until the nail goes like white.
Mm-hmm.
And then you let go. And if it takes longer than 2 seconds to become red again, you're dehydrated.
I'm dehydrated right now.
Yeah.
I am.
So that's like a capillary refill test.
Yeah,
So
that
yeah,
took
there's a
like
few
4
things.
seconds.
Wow.
I'm dry right now. Yeah, so like these are all like cool little things to know during the day, to just like see on yourself, and you're like, okay, check some water.
Yeah, I think
Right?
I love like these little life hacks. Well, life hacks, but like stuff that I'm just used to on a daily basis, but which you can easily apply to your daily life. And I think that's the essence of what I want to bring across, like trivia, facts, interesting things, surprising things, history, topical stuff, just anything which someone can take, apply to their life, or share or improve their own view of the world. That's what I want from my account, and a bit of fun at the same time.
Yeah, you do it really like in a fun way, because Like I follow these like other guys where they get so much into the science of it, and they like draw out in a whiteboard like you're like this is your neuron and this and that, and sometimes you're just not in the mood to watch that, because sometimes you just want it to be fun and colorful and like quick and you understand it easily, and
Yeah.
yours does that so perfectly, you know, and gets the message right away, and it's really good practical informations every day. And it's like you get into some subjects that is like, you know, I wouldn't want to talk about that. You
Yeah,
know?
for sure. I mean, these kind of taboo subjects are the ones people really want to know. People want
Yeah.
to know, women want to know, why do I get these pains down there when this happens? Or
Yeah.
guys want to know, why is my, penis curved that way? And all these things people want to know,
Right.
don't want to ask, and then they never know, and then they get scared. So,
Yeah.
okay, I don't mind, embarrassing myself to tell you what's going on. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. That's a good doctor. Okay, so yeah, so there's this hashtag on TikTok, learn on TikTok, that I like a lot. I think that's how I found you. We already went over how you got such a substantial following from a dancing app. And I just kind of okay. I wanted to ask you, what's the one common myth about your profession or field that you would like to debunk?
Um, I think one of the things a lot of people think is that, you know, doctors are not human sometimes. I know it's weird to say that, but like, there's traditionally been some sort of mental or kind of some sort of psychological barrier between kind of patients or members of the public and how they view doctors.
Mm,
That they're kind of robotic, or they, kind of are just different. They're so smart, and they, don't make mistakes and this and that. But actually, they're just people. I mean, everyone probably, if they search hard enough, someone they know or their friends or family probably has someone in healthcare or is a doctor or something.
mm.
And, that for them, that just maybe, cousin David or, Uncle
Yeah.
Jeffrey or whatever. But actually, there could be a doctor. And that's the one thing. They're all human. I've made mistakes. I've made mistakes online. I've made mistakes in person. Many. I will continue to make mistakes. I've done silly things. I'll continue to do silly things, but it's learning and owning up to it, accepting it, all sorts of things like that. So that's the biggest thing, just that doctors are normal people. So sometimes you see these messages online, particularly over the last year with regards to the pandemic and conspiracy theories. You get lots of sort of messages from trolls or people who believe in conspiracy theories saying that, doctors are, some sort of swear word or whatever. For me, I don't really care, but I know a lot of my colleagues who would find, that kind of stuff really hurtful.
Yeah.
And doctors are not beyond being hurt by words and actions of people online or anyone. So, they're people as well. So I think that's a key thing to note.
Yeah, I can see how that can be, because like kind of like even when you go to a doctor's office, a lot of doctors are like that. Like they come in, they're not very like personable, and it is kind of
Yeah.
in a robotic way, because they have to see 100 patients a day, and they don't have the time to like ask you necessarily about your day and like what you ate for lunch. So it can come off a little like that. But as far as the internet trolls, I mean, that's a whole nother monster of its
Yeah.
own. Some people are just really mean online. Like the things that they say is like they would never say it to your face. But I'm curious, like what kind of silly things or mistakes have you like made that you're referring to that you've like gotten backlash for?
I haven't got any backlash online as far
Mm.
as I'm aware, but just like little things like, just kind of like I can't exactly remember, but, like our dictionary of society, the words we use to describe things, is constantly changing, and terminology
Right.
that is accepted now or what is not accepted now was accepted a few years back, and
Exactly.
it's not
Yeah.
PC to say. So I may have like used something like, I think, I don't know, maybe a couple of years back or something like that. I may have used something like a phrase like, I think, mentally handicapped instead of learning disabilities,
Oh my
kind of like
gosh.
things like that. But, it's, I know, like, often it seems
Nitpicking.
like really minor, but for the people affected by it, it's a huge thing. And, I think seeing myself as a doctor, and as almost like people view doctors sometimes as guardians of society. I think I need to hold myself to that benchmark first to set a standard sometimes. So, just things like that. And, like, even doctors' phrases, like a lot of people, even doctors have said, this patient committed suicide. That's almost making suicide like a crime. That committed suicide, committed a crime, but it's not. It's someone who's with mental health issues, seeking, trying to seek help. It's
What
a
should you
manifestation of help.
say? Suicide took them?
I don't know. This person, took their life, something like that. But
Oh,
I think, our terminology changing. So I think mistakes in that sort of sense. But I think particularly online, you need to be very careful with the terms you use. And now, particularly as well, with people who are gender fluid or, binary, non-binary, referring to their pronouns, I think is really key that, you ask people what they want to be referred to as. And that's something I'm trying to incorporate into my practice to
right.
show, because there may be a patient that I see, who may be trans or,
Yeah.
and I think you need to kind of show them that you're an ally, and, I think it's important. But a
Yeah.
lot of doctors don't take this up, and I'll be honest, it's only something I'm really trying to understand and learn myself as well.
Yeah. But for them to also like get mad at you, to get angry at you, not realizing that all these changes are such new things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're so brand new. It's like, how can you get mad at someone? How can you get angry when they make an honest mistake? They don't have the intention to hurt you. And it's like a lot of them really have that attitude of like, how did you not know that? How could you?
Yeah.
And it's like, be patient, just first of all, be grateful that you live in an era where people are going with this,
Oh,
because
yeah, yeah,
any
yeah,
other
absolutely.
time this would not happen. And then also like be patient, let people learn, like maybe like educate them, teach them like kindly, like why are you getting mad? But also anything you say online can be misconstrued, anything.
Anything, 100%. Yeah, yeah. You gotta be careful. I mean, you gotta roll with the hits. There'll always be a small percentage of people who won't be happy with what you say,
Yeah.
even if it's, like I made a video about the history of Albert Einstein and how he had this kind of like secret surgery where, he had an aneurysm and a doctor wrapped some
Oh
cling film
yeah.
around his aneurysm.
Yeah.
And, I think would say like 99% of people love that story and was like, oh my God, amazing, more medical history, please. But there was a few like, hey, that was the clickbait title. He didn't have secret surgery, or there'll be someone who find a problem with something you say. It's
Yeah.
just the way it is online.
Yeah. And those are the people that are looking for something to find.
Yeah,
And if you're looking for something to find, to pick on, you will find something. And it's like, no
100%.
matter how careful you are as the content creator, it's like those people that are just like having a bad day or a bad month or a bad life, they will come and they will just like attack. It's like their angle is never to like educate you. And like, it's always like an attack, like here's a punch.
Exactly, and you just got to ignore them sometimes, or respond kindly and whatever. I mean, just
Yeah.
on to the next one. The life of a creator online, I think you need to develop some thick skin because you'll get this all the time.
Yeah, I remember some like a while ago, like every now and then there would be that one comment that I would think about all day. Like
Yeah,
all the negative things, like blah blah blah. I don't get, but then like for whatever the reason, like the wording or just something that would like stick with you, because like sometimes they're able to point out an insecurity that you actually hold, right?
mm,
So it's like if they get to like bullseye that and like word it in a really like hurtful way, then like that kind of like ruins your day. And I don't know if that's what they want, because why would anybody want that for somebody else?
I think it is that, and one way I kind of get over that, I've experienced something like that before as well. I just have comment filters on, any swear words and things like
Mm,
that. I just filter, and also, for any kind of children watching my videos as well, they don't see any of these kind of horrible comments as well. So I think it's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah, that's a good one. I might start doing that. So in your 31 years of life as a man and many years as a follower of science and a doctor, what has been a life-altering moment for you?
Um, I mean, it would probably, be just the day, or the kind of, yeah, the day I found out I passed my medical finals, my medical and surgical finals, because it just felt like med school went on forever and ever and
Yeah.
ever. It was 6 years, and it was 6 years, and I think every of those years I was thinking, oh my God, one day I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and it was the culmination of all those years of studying and
Mm,
late nights and stress and weekends where I couldn't go out and revising, and kind of, I know the effort that my parents put in to help me through various things. And it was all that kind of going through, and the pressure which had just built year on year on year. And when I passed those finals, it was just like so much relief.
mm,
Yeah, it's like I'm literally like, I can actually call myself a doctor, Dr. Karan. I'm like, wow. And I think that was one of my like greatest achievements. And I wouldn't say it was my achievement. I would definitely like put so much of that credit towards my parents, because no way I could have done it without them.
because they would push you.
Pushed me, supported me, like financially, mentally, psychologically, just everything. Like, during finals time, I'd come back home and I would just focus on work, and like they would feed me, make sure like, everything was done for me so I could just work. And, stuff like that is just like, so crucial when you actually look back on it. And,
Yeah.
I'm in a fortunate position to, have that situation where I could actually go home to my parents. They would take care of me and just let me focus on my studies.
That's a really big luxury to have, so that you only have to like worry about what's in front of you, what
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
job that needs to be done. Did you ever have a phase where you were like, you know what, I don't want to be a doctor, like I'm gonna go do something else? Or was it just like, no, I'm gonna do this, and you just had tunnel vision until the moment you did it?
I would say most of the time I did have tunnel vision. I would say there was like a few times towards the end of my time in medical school, very fleeting, and even actually a few years after being a doctor, where I had a little bit of a hit in my kind of confidence and just passion, where I would like look at some of my friends who were like, already, because, their degrees were only 3 or 4 years, and they were already in jobs when I was still a
Yeah.
student. And they were earning like big money. They were in like working for investment banks, like,
Yeah.
Goldman Sachs and this, and they were getting crazy salaries and bonuses, and, send me pictures, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm still studying. And I've got this student loan to pay off and all this kind of stuff. And, my dad would always say like,
Why did you have
that
student loan? I thought you guys have free education.
well, it's free for schooling, but like universities, obviously you need to
Oh,
pay
yeah,
for.
yeah, like medical school. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, I'll do all that, and my dad would be like, dude, you are going to be in a ridiculous job that people would love to have, and you're going to have a job for life, but these people might just have a job for 1 or 2 years and then they get fired and whatever. But you could do so many things as a doctor, and that kind of motivated me. And because sometimes I kind of flirted with the idea of, should I go and do an MBA and go into business and this and that, but actually, yeah, fleeting moments, and I was like, no, screw that. Let me do this thing. I want to be a doctor.
Yeah.
So you get dips in life where you get little crisis in confidence or motivation,
Yeah, for
and it's
sure.
just you need to pull yourself back on track.
100%. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm still in school and not near being done, so I'm kind
What are
of
you
like
studying?
psychology.
Oh,
But
nice.
yeah, I studied political science for 3 years because I wanted to go to law school. And then when I realized I don't want to do that and I changed my major to psychology, it pushed me back 3 years. Like I was so
Wow.
close to going to law school. Like I was almost done. I was one semester away. And so when I changed my mind, it pushed me back so much. But so like time wise, yeah, it's gonna feel like I'm just in school forever. But it's
Yeah.
just like one of those things, like better late than never. I would rather be 30 and, you know, have my degree in psychology than be 30 and not have it, you know?
But I
Yeah,
mean, like, you know, if you wanted to pursue psychology later on in life, you know, you're going to be a psychologist for the rest of your life. So, in
exactly.
the grand scheme of things, 3 years is nothing, right?
Exactly, exactly. And it's like you kind of like can figure out for yourself like how you feel towards that thing, you know? Like with law school, I did carry it out for 3 years, but I just like ultimately like it stopped me in my track because I was like, this is just not it. Like I keep
Yeah.
saying, okay, let's go, let's just get it done. But like I just felt like this is just not it. Like I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. But
Yeah.
now that I'm doing psychology, I'm like, yeah, I'm busy all the time because I have so much to study and I'm like taking so many classes and like I love it. Like I love showing up to class and I love doing my homework. It doesn't feel like homework. It feels like something that I would want to read regardless, you
And that's
know?
what you want. I mean, like, you know, I tell all people that who sometimes I get comments from like students who, or even like medical students who are saying, you know, I really don't want to do medicine, but my family are forcing me into it. And should I still do it? If your passion is not in something you want to do,
No,
you need to not do it. You can't do something for someone else. You need to do it for
it's
yourself.
so true. It's so true because for other people, you might carry it out for a few years, but then it's going to build resentment and
Yeah,
you're just going to drop it. But
100%.
also, I feel like a lot of times when you start doing something, then you develop passion for it. Like you don't initially have passion for something, but once you start getting good at it and you see the results, then you start developing passion for it. So I don't know. Sometimes you need to like stick with things and like wait until you get better.
Yeah, I think you do. I mean, as I mentioned, there was a little bit of a moment in my surgical career when I was very early on in surgical training, and I just felt a little bit disillusioned. You know, I wasn't getting enough operating experience. I didn't like the hospital I was working in. I didn't like the people I was around with in the hospital, like the people who were training me, and I just didn't feel like I was progressing. And at that moment, I was like, you know what? I would love to just do an MBA, you know, somewhere in America, you know, like, I don't know, Cornell, Harvard, something like that,
Mhm.
and just get out there to America for a year, you know, live that American dream that you see on TV, and then see, you know, what happens. But actually, then things changed. I had an amazing year the year after that, which
That
just
kept
changed.
you.
And now I absolutely love it. And so, you know, yeah, you just stick with it sometimes and you see it through and, you know, the kind of, you know, the peaks and troughs, you know.
Yeah. Have you ever been out here to the land of the free?
Yeah, I've been a few times. I've been to like New York,
Nice.
Arizona, Las Vegas, San Diego.
Oh, all the
Um,
great places.
yeah, you know what? I love Arizona and I love the West Coast as well. I was actually meant to come out to LA like a week ago. I was meant to
Uh-huh.
be in LA last week.
We could have had this in
Um,
person.
I know. I was meant to come out for some filming for something, but visa issues because of the COVID stuff.
Mm.
So I'm hoping to come out to LA, to Orange County, probably sometime at the end of July or early August.
Oh, that's pretty close. What are you coming here for?
So there's a group out there that want to basically shoot like a few videos, like a kind of documentary style videos with me,
Mm.
like interesting stuff, and then we're gonna kind of package it up and hopefully pitch it to some networks.
Oh, love that. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
so
That's a
really,
great
really
idea.
excited about that.
That's very
Yeah,
exciting.
and the kind of producers and editing team and stuff I'm working with, like they've all done some big stuff with like, you know, Amazon Discovery, Netflix and stuff like that. So I'm really
Yeah.
excited. Like, you know,
So it's gonna be a documentary, right?
it's going to be like several small kind of episodes, almost like tasters, and like each one is going to be a different thing. Like,
Like
you know what?
explain.
Like for example, one is going to be about you know, looking at the science of supernatural things, you know, or like one will be about the kind of you know, the science of dating and think, or the science of attraction and things like that. So
I
kind of
would love
different
that.
elements. And you know, we're going to kind of like delve into like each topic. Like one's going to be about kind of like sleep and this and that, and you know, like all these things I love to talk about, and do like little mini episodes. And then so we have like a little bit of a taster board of each different type of thing, and see which one works, and pitch all of them and just hope for the best.
I think that's such a great idea. I can definitely see a rise in people wanting to know more and learn more. And like even recently, like me and my roommate, sometimes like after a long day, like we get together and we drink a glass of wine and watch something on Netflix. And it's almost never that we watch just like a whatever brainless something. Like we always like pick a documentary. But I remember before it would always be like, let's watch a comedy, let's watch like a drama. But now it's like it's almost never that. It's almost like, okay, let's watch something that's going to teach us something, like something that like cool, something that we're going to like learn something from. So I think, yeah, that all those like good stuff are on a rise, and I'm so
You
glad.
know what's weird? It's like when I watch Netflix, like if someone looks on my Netflix, like what I've seen and stuff, it's so random. Like it's sometimes I watch documentaries, like Making a Murderer and stuff like that.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Criminal documentaries, which I just love, like weird, scary stuff. Horror films, and I'm just a huge anime fan. Like I just watch
Yeah.
so much anime. It's crazy. Like I'm 31 and I watch like so much anime. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
I heard you say that in one of your YouTube videos. I don't know. I've never really gone into that. I don't really get the hype about it, but a lot of people are very hyped about it for sure.
Yeah, 100%. I love it.
Well, maybe I'll check it out sometime. I don't know. Um, okay, so what was it like being a surgeon in the middle of a global pandemic?
It was a very strange year and a half because, COVID at one point, obviously all across the world, peaked so much that most of the hospitals were full of patients who had COVID. So the anesthetists and kind of the intensive care doctors were so busy dealing with sick COVID patients that they couldn't be involved in the surgeries to kind of anesthetize the patients and put the patients to sleep for routine
Yeah.
surgeries. So a lot of the time we couldn't do the routine surgeries that we were doing. If a patient had bowel cancer, we had to postpone their surgeries until kind of COVID died down a little bit. And so we only were doing emergency surgeries, and we were being so selective with our emergency surgeries as well. So it was almost like the surgeons were out of a job for like a few months. Thankfully, COVID, had a bit of a dip, and it kind of, the first wave went and we did the surgeries again and got busy. And then another peak where we slowed down on surgeries, COVID went down again, we started doing our surgeries again. So it was really up and down. And I was sometimes, I felt, so bad that we didn't have that much work. So some of our surgeons, we just went and helped in the intensive care
Yeah.
unit, helped in the emergency room, because, it's better than us just sitting around doing like not much.
Nothing.
So
Yeah.
it's important we had to, help out as well.
Or you can just make TikTok videos.
Could do that as well, yeah.
And like what has been the most rewarding and actually like exhausting part of educating people on, well, basically a dance app?
Um, I would say, as I've continued to post stuff and as I've continued to gain like a substantial following, it's almost the crowd wants more. The more good content you put out, they
Mm-hmm.
want more. And I think it's keeping pace with the crowd's appetite is hard sometimes. They're used to a
Yeah.
certain thing. If you have a video that does really well and gets several million views and it's really amazing stuff, there's an expectation that the next one you put out has to be amazing as well. And that can be tough sometimes, getting the good quality content. So
Yeah,
eventually it becomes a case of quality, not quantity. That's
exactly.
and sometimes.
So that's an exhausting part because you constantly have to like, put out amazing content because you also don't want to like,
Yeah,
disappoint
I
your
mean,
followers.
I'm not a full-time content creator. Like, I
Creator,
mean, I
yeah.
have a full-time job as a surgeon, and this is like my kind of side job when I have free time. So, my first priority is that, and then this. So when you are expected to produce quality as high as a full-time content creator, it's difficult.
Yeah. Well, why don't you like hire people to like, at least so that you don't have to like do the recording and the editing and like this and that. You just like do the talking.
Yeah, I think at some point I would love to do that. I would love to find someone to, I don't know, maybe curate content for me and edit the stuff and kind of, script something for me where I just, do something. I would love to be in a position to do that at some point. And I guess as I continue to grow, that's something I'll look to do so I can continue to balance my work and life and personal time as well.
Yeah, because to keep millions and millions of people, needy people, happy, not a one-man job. Um,
Exactly.
okay, so you also do a great job at posting informative videos that stop like the spread of conspiracy theories and misinformation about COVID and just other health issues in general. The one conspiracy theory, if I mean you would call it that, that I personally struggle with is the magnet one. Like, please explain this to me. I do not understand it. For
So,
people who don't know what I'm talking about, there are these videos of people who have gotten the shot, the vaccination, and they put something. It doesn't even have to be a magnet. It can be like a fork or a spoon. They just like gently put it on their arm. They don't like rub it in. You can tell they're not like making it stick there. They gently like put it there, and you can see like a magnetic effect because you can see it like get almost like attracted to it like quickly, and it just gets stuck there. And if they do it in like a lower part of their arm, it falls right away down. So like I've listened to like podcasts and like people talk about this and they say like we promise like here are the ingredients of the vaccination. There's like nothing of like metal or magnet in it, but it's like, okay, I believe you, but explain this.
yeah, I mean, there are lots of plausible explanations for something like that. Um, Number one thing is, a person has some sort of blue tack or adhesive substance behind the metal equipment or magnet. They put it on their arm. Another thing is, small metal objects can stick the skin if there's any moisture on the skin or on the metal object. That can, make it stick. There'll be more friction and it would stick. And another thing would be if a person has some sort of metallic implant, like they've had some orthopedic surgery and they've got some metal work in their arm and it sticks. But there's lots of these videos which kind of show that, but I really don't understand the point because even the vaccine is very very clear. The vaccine does not have any magnetic qualities, but even disregarding that for a second, our bodies contain so many metals:
Yeah.
cobalt, iron, chromium, nickel. All of these, we've got so many different metals in our body as like ions and things like that, so we should be a walking magnet for various other things, but we're not. Like the basis of our blood, hemoglobin, it contains iron. The heme in our blood contains iron.
But wouldn't that be
And
everywhere?
yeah, there should be everywhere. So we should be a walking magnet. So why should then just a vaccine make you suddenly magnetic? I mean, there will be conspiracy theorists despite people debunking this theory, but it's not true. That's
I know, it's just like all the debunkings I've like heard by far, and I've like listened to um people who like understand the ingredients of the vaccine like on podcasts and they like explain it, and I'm like, okay, I want to believe you, I'm just not convinced. And they say, this is what they say like, you have to keep in mind all these people that do these things on social media, they're looking for clout. They
yeah.
are looking to like make a boom and get followers and get attention. I'm like, okay, then explain this one video where this like old Persian couple who could care less about followers on Instagram or TikTok, it's like literally someone's like aunt and uncle and like grandpa. It's like these people, like I have the video, like these people don't care about it. And it's like they're genuinely concerned. Like you can tell in their voice, and they like, put like a key. It's like they show the key, there's like nothing behind it, like put it right here, it sticks, put it right here, it falls right down. So it's like, he like cleans his skin. He's like, look, it falls down. So I'm like, I guess a better question would be, has there ever been another vaccination where like somebody got vaccinated, like not a COVID vaccine, just like a different vaccine, and like right after that somebody tried doing that? Because maybe it's not a COVID vaccine thing, maybe it's like just like a shot thing, like maybe when you get a shot like something happens in your arm.
I racking my brain. There's no plausible scientific theory I can think to explain that. But also, I've never heard any massive issues with any other shot like I have with COVID. I mean,
Yeah,
there are always the anti-vaccine group who have a problem with,
sure.
most vaccines. But yeah, I mean, COVID has supercharged the level of conspiracy theories to something, incredible. Like, every day there's a new conspiracy theory. And, like, I just find it kind of funny now. I see these things. I constantly see people scanning their arm and saying, oh, it's magnetic, or there's like a microchip in there, or magnet, or this or that. I mean, I
Yeah,
could keep debunking these theories. I could do
they would
20
keep
videos a
coming.
day debunking these.
Yeah. But why do you think that is, that with this one virus and with this one vaccination, there are so many conspiracy theories and so much more concern than any other time before?
I think it's, obviously the rise of social media apps during the pandemic has given a voice to people with conspiracy theories a lot more.
Hmm.
That tied into the fact that, the vaccine to kind of save the world, as it were, or get us out of the pandemic, has been produced in super quick, record-breaking time. You put those things together, and the fact that people have been trapped in their houses and just scrolling on TikTok or online and Facebook and Instagram, it's almost like adding fuel to a fire. So all it takes is one big conspiracy theory video to set the whole
Yeah.
place on fire.
Yeah, but I think it's also the fact that this whole thing has been extremely sketchy from the beginning. And like, even like throughout the year, even with the vaccination, the whole thing has been so extremely politicized. And like,
Mm.
it just didn't seem like a genuine virus that just like stumbles upon every now and then, and like we fix it and we move on. No, it seems like there's ulterior motive behind it. It seems like there are a lot of powerful people involved in it, and that makes people distrustful.
Yeah, I mean, I would say another kind of adding fuel to the fire would be the fact that there were people in positions of power, for example, Donald Trump, who, he had made various kind of, you would say, statements that maybe aligned with anti-vaccination groups,
Mhm.
and sort of almost promoting alternative therapies to cure COVID, all sorts of crazy things, which obviously doesn't help the situation. As well as that, lots of other powerful politicians are, spouting nonsense. And, there's always been a general distrust of pharmaceutical companies and manufacturers.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm never going to, sing the praises of pharmaceutical companies, but at the end of the day, they produce medicines which save lives, and I'm neither,
But they're
pro
all
nor
owned.
against. Hmm?
They're all owned by extremely rich white men. All
Yeah,
the
I mean,
pharmaceutical companies.
unfortunately, there's nothing you or I could do about any of that. But,
Yeah,
the scientists who work for these organizations, they're, Indian, Israeli, and Lebanese, and German,
sure.
and Turkish, and, multicultural. And they are the ones, not the, aristocratic people behind the scenes, but these
Yeah,
people are the ones who are saving lives. And so an organization like Pfizer, yeah, who cares about the people behind the scenes? But actually, the workers, the scientists and the researchers, they're the ones changing the game. And I have trust
sure.
in them that they can produce something of high quality, and which it's been proven.
Yeah, it's true, and I see where you're coming from, but it's like, who's investing in them? Who's funding their study? Who's funding their research? Who's putting them in that lab and in that white coat and giving them all the things they need? So to think that the person who's giving them all the money they need to do their job, like, doesn't get a say at the end is, it's a little, okay, sure. I mean, I
I
think
mean,
that if I'm investing millions of dollars in something, at the end, if it's something that I don't like, I'm going to tell the people that work for me to be quiet and just brush it under the rug. Or, hey, why can't you try and like make it a little more like this? What is that like this? Something that is beneficial to me.
That's the
right?
thing. I mean, there are millions of healthcare workers all over the world, and you'd be hard pressed to find a significant proportion of healthcare workers who would tell you the vaccine is not good. And
True.
any healthcare worker who tells you the vaccine is not safe is either A, not a healthcare worker and is lying and claiming to be one, or B, is seriously misinformed and is a dangerous
Yeah.
healthcare worker.
Hmm.
I would not trust a healthcare worker that is anti-vaccine.
Hmm.
And sometimes someone who's anti-vaccine will call themselves pro-choice. This is just an alternative phrase for anti-vaccine.
Hmm. Interesting. That's a debate.
In this context, in the contents of vaccines, if they say they're pro-choice, it's basically an alternative way of saying I'm anti-vaccine because they don't want to be seen as anti-vaccine. Like,
Yeah.
you know, vaccines, I work for the NHS. I don't get any monetary incentive or financial incentive to promote vaccines. The reason my incentive to promote vaccines is to get us as a nation in the UK and the world out of the pandemic so I
Yeah.
can see my friends and family again and the hospitals are not full of COVID patients. And that's how I think most healthcare workers feel as well. And in the UK, for example, we've got a population of around 70 million. We've had more than half the country
Hmm.
been vaccinated with 2 vaccines. So clearly people want to take vaccines.
Well, mostly, yeah. I can see where it can be called a pro-choice if it's forced on you. For example,
It's not forced on. It's no one's forcing anyone to take a vaccine though.
they don't directly force you to take it, but they will indirectly force you to take it. Here's an example. My school from next semester, if you want to attend school, you have to show your vaccination card because online classes are not going to be offered like this anymore. So you have to go to school and you can only go to school if you show them your card. So sure, no one's going to like hold you down and,
Mm,
put the shot in your body. They're not going to directly force you in that sense, but they will make you think that okay, you can't travel, you can't go to your school, you can't go to your
yeah.
favorite spots, and who knows what other things. So indirectly they will force you to take it. And I think when it comes to that level, that makes me worried, because in what other time where the government's bribing people with money and alcohol and marijuana, and because they're
Mhm.
doing that to take a shot, to take a vaccination. And that makes me a little like, and not just me, I would bet that a lot of this like distrust is coming from the fact that okay, this whole thing has been sketched from the get-go, it's extremely politicized. Now that the vaccine is here, you're indirectly forcing people to take it, and you're bribing people to take the shot. So like these
I
are
th-
all really good reasons to be a
I
little.
think I think the governmental communication side of things, I would say throughout the pandemic, has never been good, and I would say that it's been generally the case in most countries. Mixed messages, backwards and forwards with messaging, giving people confused signals. That definitely hasn't helped with confidence, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, like Fauci heavily flopped from the beginning because like people were really looking up to Fauci. Like he was the one, like figure that when it came to like stuff like this, we were like, okay, that's our guy, that's the one who knows, and we trust him, and we will listen to him. And now it's like put him in prison. Like everyone's like, they're like literally like people yelling out Fauci needs to go to prison. So it's like been a hell of a ride this past year, mentally and just
Oh yeah.
every like it's like, and I personally don't know which side to trust. Like I do want to trust the healthcare workers and scientists, but that also makes me think like, what if they don't know? What if they don't know either? I mean, I'm sure they know a lot more than I do, but there are just so many people in the background.
I think the kind of people who are on the side against vaccines, it's actually a very small number, but just very vocal, which
Yeah,
makes it seem like they're in a greater number than they are. Most people
true.
that you would see do trust vaccines, and they will take it when offered. But the anti-vaccine group are very vocal, which I have noticed.
So why do you think it is this thing that they're like, you know, indirectly forcing people to take it, and like doing all these like contests and lotteries only for people who have taken the shot, and like offering people alcohol and food and marijuana, and you know, so it's
Yeah, I mean,
entirely
those kind of, incentives in America. I mean, I can't really speak for that, but in the UK, we don't have
you
any of
guys don't
that.
do
We
stuff
just,
like that.
no, it's just, here you go, you're offered the shot. We've done it by age group. So, like, the over 60s and then the over 50s, over 40s, 18 plus. And people have just lined up and taken the vaccines. And the message in the UK has been very clear, like, it saves lives, it protects the NHS. And kind of daily news reminders and stats, and people online explaining why and this, and been very clear. And people have willingly taken the vaccine, and most of the adult population in the UK has taken the vaccine, at least one dose, if not two. I think, in terms of why they're doing the restrictions in terms of travel and things like that, I think it's clear it's to protect the people who are most vulnerable in society, because for not everyone will have protection from the vaccine. The vaccines are not 100% effective, so there'll be a very small percentage of people for whom it doesn't work. But if everyone is vaccinated, or close to everyone, then you have almost getting to a point of herd immunity. And no human population in the world has ever reached herd immunity without getting vaccinated.
I understand that. What I don't understand is, why do people who don't want to get it have to get it? Because look, if you feel endangered by a virus, get the vaccine. Then you'll be safe. And the people who don't get the vaccine are taking the responsibility of dying. And that's on them. And nobody has to worry about them, right?
So vaccines have a very high effectiveness rate to stop you getting an infection. So if you don't take the vaccine, say we reduce society to 10 people, okay, and seven of the people take the vaccine, yeah. And out of the seven people, the vaccine won't work for everyone, but it works for most of them. The three people who don't want to take the vaccine and says, you guys take it, we're not going to take it. Those three guys can still catch the virus. Even if they don't succumb to the illness themselves, they can spread it to others who have, who are maybe older, who are higher at risk, and they can do that. So it's to protect other people as well as protecting yourself. In addition to that, it's not only the dying, but also the chronic long-term issues, the economic impact on the healthcare system as well. So vaccines have multiple layered effects to help society as a whole, as well as the individual.
I see. So it's like, even when people get the vaccine, it's not like 100%, you know, it's kind of like a condom. It's like, okay, it's like a 98%, but you could still get
Yeah,
COVID.
exactly. There's a small failure rate,
Yeah.
but the point is it's almost 100% effective so vaccines are twofold. It's very good at stopping you getting the infection first up. Like, you might not get it, you probably won't get it at all if you get vaccinated. And the second thing is, even if the vaccine fails at stopping you getting infected and you get a COVID, it's almost 100% effective at stopping the COVID being severe. So if
Mm.
you get COVID even after getting vaccinated, it basically makes COVID into something that's harmless, like just you get a headache or a bit of a
Yeah.
runny nose, instead of going to the hospital.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so it's like, when you get the shot, then if somebody didn't get the shot, and let's say they pick up the virus, and they're a carrier, maybe they're not showing symptoms but they're carrying it, and you know, they transfer it to you, since you've already gotten vaccinated, then you might show very small symptoms,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. So I mean, like, that sounds like a fair solution to me. So it's like, it still comes out to leave the people who don't want to get it alone, because then, even if in a very slight chance of them picking up this virus, which they could do that with any other virus that has been known to us in the history of viruses, it doesn't have to be just with the COVID, right? At any time, anything that we've gotten vaccinated for, you can still carry that and give it to someone who's old, and they could die. That's always a possibility of just like living in a society with other people, right?
but particularly this virus is a lot more aggressive and virulent. So, there'll be some old people who for the vaccine has not worked. So it won't work in everyone. And a unvaccinated individual who's in their 20s, fit and healthy, will get the COVID and be absolutely fine, asymptomatic, pass it on to someone who's in their 70s, who's vaccinated, but the vaccine hasn't worked for them, and they get COVID and die.
Why would the
That's
vaccine not work for them?
because they're not 100%
Oh,
effective.
oh, oh, oh. Yeah, but I'm saying that that could happen with any other thing, right? That could happen with any other sickness. If you're so old that your immune system is just weak and, your body just cannot repair itself as, quickly or whatever, that could happen with anything. You could just fall and
It can
die.
it can happen with a young person as well, but
Exactly.
if we have the tools to stop it, we should use it. I mean, that's the basis.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm all for that, except when it comes to forcing people putting something in their body they don't want to. And the whole passport thing is like, it freaks me out, Because it's like, okay, what else could be done with this passport in the future? Like right now, sure, it could be the vaccination. But then once I feel like we give that kind of power, I mean, I don't know how much in UK people trust the government. I would assume it's more than here.
Probably, yeah.
We don't trust the government here that much. They don't have a good track record here. So it's like I personally don't want to put that much power of like controlling us in anyone's hand, you know? It's like, okay, you're giving me a passport, so now I can't go here, I can't go to school. Now it's just with the virus, but it could be like other things in the future.
Hmm.
I don't know. I have a bad feeling about the passport, which they said they're not gonna do.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely like a contentious issue, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's difficult. There's pros and cons both sides, and I think it needs a bit more nuance and careful thought.
Yeah. Hopefully they won't do it so more people will get the vaccine and like not be scared of it. Have you gone shot?
Yeah, I've got double jabbed.
Vaxxed? Yeah, I mean you got it because you're in like so much more risk being in a
Yeah,
hospital.
I wanted to as well. I wanted to protect my family. I come home and see my family a lot. I wanted to protect others as well, and myself. So I was happy to get both, and I think I got it like several months ago, actually, both of them.
Nice. Which one did you get?
Pfizer, yeah.
Ooh, fancy. Awesome. Well, we had a really good conversation. I still have a few more questions, but I don't want to keep you too long because once we get into these other, I think we'll need at least another half an hour. And we're already over time, so thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me. It was good.
Yeah. All right. I hope you have a good day. And
Perfect. What time is it there for you now?
it's 2:19 p.m. here. What time is it over there?
10:19 p.m.
Oh. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, it's late. Is it past your bedtime?
I'm probably going to watch a little bit of Netflix and then go to bed.
What are you watching?
What I'm watching Black Summer, which is like a zombie type thing.
Is it like a thriller? Is it fun?
It's a series. It's really good. It's like zombie apocalypse type stuff, but it's kind of different to every other zombie stuff I've seen. It's really good.
I asked people on my Instagram story, what should I watch on Netflix? And I'm so mad at them. A bunch of people said Lupin. I
I
think
watched that. I really liked that actually.
you did?
It took me a while to get into it, like
What?
3 episodes. It took me three
Yeah.
episodes to get into it, but I liked it.
How would you rate it out of 10?
Oh, 7 to 8.
I gave it 5, and I thought that was generous.
Oh wow.
I just thought like the story was like so like the parts where he's like getting out of the place and all the cops are coming from front and he just has a wig on and like they
Oh,
can't
it's
that
yeah,
that's him.
it's
Like,
very
are you
French.
kidding me? Like,
It's very French.
yeah, like he's like the only black guy in like the whole place and like extremely tall and just has a wig on and like nobody knows it's him. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, it's a very kind of European comedy type stuff. It's classic, like yeah.
Yeah, but I started Queen's Gambit last night and it kept me up till 3 a.m. It
Yeah,
was so
very
good.
good, very good. I've seen
Yeah.
that's very good.
Yeah. All right. Well, I hope you have a great night. Sweet, sweet dreams.
Perfect. Chat to you soon.
Bye.